This is the start of my actual Leo Express footage going to Krakow. So I started in Praha Hlavni Nardazi. We left about 20 minutes late, and this express was just ahead of us by literally a few seconds, and we ended up pacing them running out of the station. This is basically the north throat of the Hlavni Nardazi yard, which is confusing because I said southeast throat in my Vinohrady video. If you really want to be strict, there is a north and a south throat to Hlavni Nardazi, but the Vinohrady end curves to the southeast. And if anything, the north throat curves to the northeast. And this is Olomouc. It's a popular tourist town in the Czech Republic. And I didn't keep too much of the footage before I got to the east, but Olomouc was an exception, because Olomouc is sort of special. There is Studenka, home of the Studenka Railway Works, just outside of Ostrava. And this is Ostrava Svinov, which is the secondary station for Ostrava. So we were getting pretty close to the Polish border at this point, obviously, because Ostrava is already in Silesia. And there weren't a lot of people in Svinov that day, but as you can see, the station is kind of large for a secondary station. And noticeably older than the current Ostrava Hlavni Nardazi. So here is the actual Ostrava Hlavni Nardazi, and as you can see, it's relatively modern. As a building, it's not really that interesting. But what was interesting was we happened to be there when the mail trains were there. So they're getting the mail trains ready to go for the night. And they were in nice shape, although you can see where they've touched them up from graffiti, because the age of the paint varies quite a lot. And some various vintage diesels there. I attempt to identify them in the description. And there was some other freight traffic, as you can see. I had a big problem on this trip with reflections in the windows of the Stadler EMU. Bear with me, I suppose. Bohumin is the last station of note in the Czech Republic before you cross the border into Poland. And so some of the Pendolinos have terminated here historically. And you see a very, very wide variety of power. You see a German, I think class 185 there, I'm not sure. You see a shipment of automobiles there. Some hoppers, some tankers. And when we get past the tankers here, quite a lot of them. It's an old electric. Czech electric. I can't tell exactly. Then a Vectron that appears to be leased. And a lot of interesting stuff, generally. There's quite a lot of traffic over the border, actually. And they have some factories and so on too.
Dámy a pánové, chtěli bychom vás informovat, že naše aktuální doba splnění činí 10 minut a byla začíná obratou soupravy zpožděného vlaku. Děkujeme za pochopení a přejeme vám příjemný zbytek vaší cesty. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to inform you that our delay is 10 minutes due to technical reasons. Thank you for understanding and wish you a pleasant journey.
So some hoppers there, even though they look kind of strange. And we're slowing to stop at the station here. I can't tell whether that's a 163 or a 363 electric, but it's one of the so-called Pershing series that look very much alike. And here we're leaving Bohumin on the way to Poland. If you want to look at what I figured out the units were, the locomotives, I'm going to put that in the description. So if I'm glossing over some of these, I apologize for that. I can only say just so many words a second, you know. So I have here a 714 diesel and a 111 electric. Both of them are basically switchers, although you'll sometimes see them on local services, especially the 714 diesels. So there's 111, 30, and 714, 18. The extra number there is a checksum, as always. It's not part of the real number. And then they had some Polish intercity stock there, operated by PKP. So you can see it says PKP Intercity. You can even see these as far away as Prague, actually. They are used internationally. This is the last passenger station in the Czech Republic that I got good footage of. Dolní Lutině, if I'm pronouncing that right. There's one more yard for a power plant. Then there's one more yard in Petrovice u Karvine on the Czech side of the Polish border. And you can see our next official stop is in Poland. You can see the W in the name there, which I can't even pronounce. They don't use W's in Czech, except for foreign words, like Polish words. So you can't really read the sign in this shot, but you'll see the power plant as a sign. So you give it a few seconds. And there's the power plant. You can see the cooling towers. It's not a nuclear plant, though. It's actually the most powerful coal-fired plant in the Czech Republic, producing 3 terawatt-hours of power per year. So I zoom in here, and it is at Dětmarovice. It's not actually the last stop. Petrovice u Karvine is actually the last stop, but I don't have very good footage of it. Also, as I recall, we didn't stop there, although we did pass through it, as you'll see, although it's, as I said, a little bit hard to see that that's where we are. And I got some Hugo smoothie there from the trolley. I didn't spot any border marker, weirdly enough. Going through my videos again and again and consulting Google Earth, I figured out that this is still in the Czech Republic, and the next yard will be Petrovice u Karvine, even if the station is very hard to see, as you'll see in the second part of the video. And pretty soon I'm going to run out of my 10 minutes allotment here, so I will finish this in a second part. So there's a 65 kilometers per hour speed sign. And we're going over some points that are basically under construction from the look of it. The speed sign could be temporary. And that's actually a Slovak locomotive over there. It's a 131. It's like a Pershing, but notice it's articulated. Freight only, generally speaking. And there is our first proper Polish locomotive, which is just a Vectron and PKP cargo livery. There's a leased Vectron with a shipment of sheet metal from the look of it. Strangely left out in the open air, which seems like a mistake to me, but there it is. And I'm out of time, so we'll see you in the next video.